I'm Gaurav. I'm the CTO at IO.net. Quick background about me. I've been in the industry for 20 years. Before this, I was in leadership positions in Amazon, eBay, Booking Holding, and Binance. Right? I am with the project for almost a year now. It's comparatively the things which we have achieved in this project. We are still very new comparatively, like what we have achieved in this past 1 year. The Internet of GPUs is finally here. And why do we say it? You will get to know in next 5-10 minutes. So in the early 2000s, if you're a business, just opening a new branch in different cities wasn't good enough. Expanding to new countries wasn't good enough. You had to go online. The businesses like Netflix realized it, adapted, went online. Today, they are more than $400 billion worth of business. And there are a bunch of companies which didn't realize, like Blockbuster, in the same business, and they had a slow death. We are at the same juncture where AI is equally important today. There'll be companies in the next 5-10 years will adapt to AI, will become bigger. Like, for example, if you want to run your support team at 1/10 the cost, you better adapt to AI chatbots, AI agents, and reduce the cost of the company and utilize this money somewhere else to grow. Else, with these kind of examples, you'll have a slow death in the business. And people are realizing it, right? And these research numbers show that. So there are like bunch of like different sides of the spectrums. Somebody saying that we are having a growth of AI and GPUs by 33%. Some say we'll become $1 trillion plus business in the next 10 years. Even if you take a mean of all these research, you will realize that for sure, we'll be $1 trillion plus economy in the coming years. And the demand will never be met by the supply. We today itself are short by 2.5 times, meaning if we are producing X amount of GPUs every day, we need 2.5x times. And this number will not reduce. And the reason is very simple. The mobile phones you have in your pocket, it's 10 to 20 times more stronger than the CPUs you had 20 years back. That still, with that number, you have seen that AWS business has become 100 times. We are selling more and more compute. And the reason is when the cost becomes lower, the hardware becomes stronger, people do more experimentation. And the demand for that particular piece becomes higher. You've seen that thing in CPUs with the businesses like AWS, Google's and all. Same thing. You're already seeing it in GPU business and it's just going to become bigger. This demand and supply will not be met. Now think from the customer perspective. I'll just give the problem statements we have and then we will tell you how we are solving this problem, right? Even if you're a startup and assume you have just been funded by $20 million, you will be surprised that the AI companies spend more than 50% of their funding in just getting these GPU resources. So if you're funded with $20 million, more than 10 million is just going in renting these businesses, these GPUs, right? And even if you give the money to these centralized players like AWS and Google's, you still have to wait months. That's the opportunity cost lost, right? We saw all these problems and we thought that how we can build a business around it. And then we thought that the main thing we want is we want to create a decentralized cloud. But when we are building this skyscraper, we wanted it to be built brick by brick and adding value at each step in the ecosystem. So we started with creating a DePIN first, which will give the GPUs to these builders at the 70% discount compared to the centralized players. Right? That's what was our first aim. And then we wanted to create an economy around this DePIN with having a marketplaces for data, models, and protocol and governance things also, right? Now, what we did was we created a strong team. In the crypto side, you will hear a lot of times we will do this, we will do this. In this next talk, we'll tell you what exactly we have done and where we are in terms of the ARR revenue, the T&E, and what we have built. And then we'll tell you where we'll be headed and what we have achieved in the last 1 year. And the reason we have done it is because we have this strong set of engineers. In a lot of crypto companies, you'll see a lot of degens who know crypto very well, but they don't know how to build platforms. In a lot of companies, you will see people who can build platforms, but they don't understand the crypto side of things, how to use the tokenomics, how to use the ecosystem, how to use the community, right? We collected the set of engineers and people who were good in crypto, who had a background in crypto from Binance of the world. We had people from AWS, Google's and all. So we had a set of people who knew the business, who knew the crypto, and who can build the platforms at scale. Today, you realize a lot of times that like there is a GPU shortage, there's a GPU shortage, but it's not actually real. The reason being is there's ample amount of compute in the market, but people are not tapping to it. The best example of this would be that when this crypto event is happening, and let's say you come to Hong Kong, and all of you guys, let's say as a group, go to Hilton, and you say we need 10 rooms. The Hilton will say, sorry, sold out, right? Then you go to Marriott, they'll say sold out. But does that mean in Hong Kong you don't have any hotel room with the same service available? That's not true. There's ample amount of inventory there, but people haven't aggregated this inventory and given it to customers. Airbnb did it in the terms of rooms, and Booking.com and other players did it for hotels. Nobody had the incentive and the resources to do it for GPUs. So we were one of the earliest players doing it, right? And the numbers would actually prove it in the coming slides. Now, what we have already achieved, let's talk about that, right? Not the future and the dream, what we have already achieved in terms of platform and the numbers and the revenue. Let's talk about that, right? So we have 4 products already, which is called Cloud, Worker, Explorer, and Intelligence, right? Let's go quickly over it. Worker is basically a platform, one of the platforms which allow anyone to bring their worker to our platform, add it, like GPUs to add it, and get the incentive immediately. We are one of the very rare players who do this. Why? Because the technology to test that if you are giving me a GPU X, is it really that GPU X is very hard to test. It took us more than 6 months to build this tech. That if you're telling me that you have a H100 GPU, is it really a H100 GPU? Nobody does it in the crypto industry also. Why? Because it's this tech wasn't there. So people normally buy the hardware. They themselves become a centralized players. They build some smart contracts and they call them a DePIN, right? In the actual DePIN, when you go to the ethos of DePIN, the inventory should also come from people. And it was hard in past because the tech didn't exist. We invested 6+ months just to build this tech that you can bring us the hardware, we will test it, and if the hardware is what you claim, then we'll give you very good rewards as incentives. And today, when you actually give us your hardware, for example, H100, the incentive in tokens which you earn is 3 times the money you will get if you rent it someplace outside. So let's say if you are renting it outside on the platform for $1, we give you close to $3. That's the kind of incentive we gave. And we saw that just few months, we had more than $3 billion worth of inventory with us. Like, I think we'll be among the top 20 players or top 10 players in the market, and including Web2s also, which had such a huge inventory, right? Now, we then built a software on top of these GPUs because a lot of people want the consumption of these GPUs in a very seamless way as software engineers, as developers. So what we do? We basically saw what is the technology which will be the thing in the future. And OpenAI of the world are basically building over array framework. Small players don't do this because they are still learning, but the biggest players, OpenAI of the world, use this framework. And we took it, forked it, made it better. Their tech only worked on single data center. We forked it and changed it in a way that this tech now can work in decentralized way among multiple data centers. And if suppose you are working on thousands of GPUs, and let's say 10 of those GPUs go bad, automatically those will be moved out and new GPUs will be brought in seamlessly. We built this tech, and what we realized was the demand for this was very, very high. And just in past 3 months, this is the rate of growth of our TNE. In first 6 to 7 months, we just built the tech to be stable. That was the base platform, right? And in past 4 months, we said, okay, the platform exists, we are there. Now let's bring the business in. Let's show that, okay, the business could be built on this platform. And within 4 months, you'll realize that our TNE from the month of October, from 11, has grown to 64 on a daily basis. And this growth is not stopping. We as a company have like literally realized internally that deep inside of the problem for us is a solved problem. We have shown the value, customers are happy, now the customers are coming by themselves. Right? This particular flywheel is already rotated, and the growth of the DePIN business is automatically growing over a period of time. So what are we doing as a company? we're building more products around it. So we are a crypto project. We wanted to empower the community, and we had this $1 billion worth of inventory. So we built a platform known as IO Intelligence. Okay, what do we do? Imagine you're a builder and you want to build, let's say, an ML model, and you go to a Web2 player. At a time T0, if you go to any platform, you pay them money right from beginning to get those GPUs. Then you build on that platform, you pay for data, you pay for compute, and let's say you do a good job. Kudos to you, you did a good job. Then you take that model, try to sell it to people outside, to some companies, to get the money back, right? What we wanted to build was we wanted to build an economy around it, so that if, as a builder, you come, we give you the GPUs for free till certain time. You don't need to pay anything. And when you build the model, and if it's a good model and it's being used by numerous people, we will give you incentive as a part of that also. Imagine how many builders from Web 2 now will come to Web 3. The potential is like huge. And what we did, all the popular models which you have heard of, DeepSeeks, Llamas and all, we took all these 30, 40 popular models, deployed it on a system, and gave it for free, people to use. Just 3 weeks back, we launched this platform. And within 3 weeks, we realized, like, we were building it for community. We had enterprise players in Web 2 coming to us and said, we want a separate instance of the same product where we can give our data to these models, train only on our models, and we're ready to pay for it. So the product which we built for community, now Web 2 companies are coming and we are earning revenue from that also. And it's just a 3-week-old project which we launched, right? So the point is, in crypto and in DePIN, the real business can be built. And we have done it within a year, right? So these are just numbers and products which today exist, right? Now, what we're basically doing is our decentralized distributed compute infrastructure is already there. We showed you the numbers. We showed you what you built, right? The model marketplace, which I just talked about, IO Intelligence, it's already there. Now what we are doing is we as a company are creating decentralized storage, the data marketplace, because to create a model, data is equally important. You cannot build a good model if you don't have a power over data, right? Or ownership over data. So we, in the future, are creating, we already started working on it. We already are creating a marketplace for data where anybody who comes in gets incentive when they share data with us. We, in the coming year, will become a single stop shop for AI. If you want to build anything for decentralized AI, we will be the player which will give you everything. And we've already proven it with the tech in the past 6-8 months itself, and with the numbers in terms of the T&E and everything. We have another venture arm. So God was great to us. We were blessed. We did well as a business. Now we wanted to give back to the community also. So we created a venture arm where we basically fund a lot of AI startups coming in also, sometimes in terms of the GPU, because it's costly. When we were coming up, we were creating our models and the infrastructure, a good amount of our investment was also going in GPUs. So we realized it. So we created a venture arm to help these AI startups which are coming up. Predominantly, we do it in terms of GPUs, but we sometimes do it in terms of money also, right? So if there's any player interested, we have investment arm, you can reach out to us. More than happy to help and engage, right? I think that was a quick summary of IO. More than happy to have any questions if anyone has.